Hey everyone, welcome to the Withering Effect. This is episode 12B. That's right, I said 12B, like the B side of that cassette that fell underneath your tape back in, I don't know, high school years when your parents couldn't afford a real CD player for your car. Today's date is September 10th, 2019, and I am Duds, or Duds versus everywhere else. Bank?
And I'm Bank, like you said. Yeah, I'm Bank. Or Bankaardappel.
That was going so well.
Yeah, we were. Oh well, we'll work it out. Well, dang it! Now I lost it. Words.
Yeah. Okay, so this episode is going to be really different than all the other episodes. Basically, we had Nina on last week, and we had so much fun recording with her. We recorded a second episode that we kind of waited to put out till this week. We still want to cover some news and stuff. Neither one of us have really worked on anything important this week. It's been non-Minecraft projects, and I'm not going to tell you guys mine because it's a major project, and I'm kind of holding it close to the chest until I get more stuff worked out.
Shit, these. It is a really cool thing, though.
Yeah, Bank had to sit here and listen to me talk about it, what, an hour and 45 minutes already? Jeez.
Maybe longer than that.
Yeah, but I'm super excited. I hope it gets worked out.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I do too.
So, do you have anything to add, Bank, or should we just jump right into the news?
No, I don't have really much to add from this week. It was a pretty boring week for me as well.
Yeah, I mean, the most I had was I did a lot of work in the yard. I did some work on my car, and that was it.
I just kept making models and printing them.
Yeah, you did a 3D model of that chest and painted it, and that looked really good.
Yeah, I should actually post a picture. I'll do it in the Discord after we're done recording.
Yeah. Another reason to join the Discord, which some of you guys took us up on, and you joined. Thank you. I know our Discord's really small and not super active, but that's why we keep begging you guys to join the Discord.
Because then it will get active. Yeah.
Exactly. So, Minecraft news, we had snapshot 19W36A.
It is already like a week ago at this point. But
yeah, but because we record weird days. Sometimes they're Saturdays, sometimes they're Sundays, Mondays or Tuesdays. We just never know. That's why I say the date whenever we do, not just episodes up, so you guys can go, oh, they recorded it on this date. That's why they're not talking about this. And stuff like that. Yeah, snapshot. Holy crap, we're already getting sidetracked on a very sidetracky episode.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. We had a lot of sidetracks with Nina, which was great. Yeah.
It really was. It was fun talking to Nina.
It was a lot of fun. All right, news.
News. Obfuscation. I don't even know how to pronounce this word.
And so it's your language. I mean, I'm even more lost. I've never even seen the word.
I know it has something to do with obscuring, and that it's going to make modding Minecraft way better. I
mean, that's kind of what it says as well on the updates, on the snapshot thingy.
Yeah. So, there's that. To me, the big thing is trying to sleep in a bed during daytime will now set player spawn. That's going to be awesome.
I kind of like that. I wonder if you actually lay in bed or not. Probably.
I don't know. I think it's going to be cool because everyone tries to build mini games where you kind of die, so you have to sleep in a bed before you play the mini game. At least on servers. So this will kind of take away that. Or like when you're doing a group fight, trying to fight the Ender Dragon, and everyone's trying to sleep in a bed before the dragon fight. Not everyone got into the bed, so the night passed super quick, and now they're like, oh my god, I didn't get to set my spawn.
Yeah, those are great examples of why that thing is great.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if you just found a nice spot and it took you a lot of effort to get there and you don't want to risk like hanging out too much before setting your spawn.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Traveled far away, like I just want to set my spawn now.
Yeah, it's a very good point.
I really like the firework rockets. Well, we should go by order, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, I think I'm going by a different order maybe than you, but I have bells will ring if powered by redstone.
Yeah, I really like that as well. I mean, I worked around it using an arrow and a dispenser and just shooting an arrow against the bell.
Well, but, is it the actual bell, or if you power the block the bell is hooked to, does that also ring it?
I mean, I'm gonna
I have
say
to think so, right?
Then the block. I mean, wouldn't it just work like any other redstone component?
Yeah, I'm guessing. I don't know.
If the block next to it gets powered, it'll sort of send the power
Yeah.
through it as well, like once.
Does an observer observe a bell ringing?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
Yeah. I don't really know a purpose for it, but it'd be nice to know if it did or not. I mean, that may already be in the game anyways. You might not have to wait for a snapshot for that.
Yeah, that's a fun one to try out.
Yeah. Another update in the snapshot that's really going to help like custom map makers and modding and stuff is that you can turn off individual damage in the game. So like you can turn off drowning damage. So if you're underwater too long, you won't drown. You can take off fall damage, no more falling to your death, or fire damage. Stuff like that can be changed in the game rules. So that's kind of cool for some adventure maps.
I guess also for how do you phrase it? Like for less experienced player servers.
That's
like,
true.
Where there's a lot of new players. They often have like set the game mode to easy and then no fire ticks, that kind of stuff. There's some things in there that could be really nice for new players.
Yep, I agree. The next item is sponges now dry out when placed in the nether.
I mean, that could save on fuel.
Yeah, I understand it, but I don't really think it was a worthy enough thing, if that makes sense. Like, I get it, because water doesn't exist in the nether, so it makes sense for water to evaporate out of sponges when you place them down.
Right.
I think you should be able to get away with not even placing them down. Like, if you just hit Q and toss them out of your inventory.
Oh,
to me,
yeah.
That would make it worth it.
I mean, I kind of like this as well. Because, I mean, melting stuff is always really slow.
Yeah.
So placing it and then mining it is obviously sort of a quicker way and also less weighty.
Mm-hmm. Well, I love how they built 2 new furnaces to make smelting faster. But it still doesn't do everything. So now they're working out ways just to not use furnaces at all. Maybe if you throw a pork chop in the nether, it'll cook it.
That would be great, though.
It makes sense, right?
Throw it on a magma block, something like that.
The nether's hot.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the one you were talking about earlier, fireworks now dispense from a dispenser and travel the way they were, the direction they were fired.
Yeah, it's so completely useless, but it's really cool because you can have horizontal rockets, like you said. That's awesome.
Right, like I'm going to start setting up little turns of firework, big, large, exploding balls or whatever.
Oh, yeah, you could actually make turrets for like mini games and stuff.
Mm-hmm. I think that'll be very cool.
Yeah.
Honey bottles are now less filling also. I guess they decreased the saturation. Guys, I was already complaining that honey was kind of useless. Now you made it even more useless.
Yeah, so they added a food, and it could be like a replacement for carrots. If it well, it didn't stack, so it couldn't be, but you know.
Yeah.
And then, no, they just made it like, yeah, you never even really want to use it because it's really bad.
Right.
It's a shame.
Yeah. Put honey on the chicken and let me cook the chicken and give my chicken the saturation of a golden carrot. That's what I want. That's going to be awesome.
I'd still like to see a complete food rework. Like, keep the foods you have, just sort of make them work differently or something.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Make it viable to use them, whichever you like. I don't know. Now there's so many ones you never use. Like, you don't want to use it at all.
Yeah. Some couple bug fixes. Entities crossing dimensions through nether portals cause tremendous lag. That's true, and I'm excited that gets fixed. From what they're saying is like 1.15 is not going to be this huge grand update. It's just kind of going to be a bug fix with some other stuff added to it.
Right.
Which I'm kind of okay with, as long as it doesn't take July before it comes out. Because that's the way 1.13 was. They were like, hey, it's going to come out early 2019, and it was, July 4th? That weekend, I want to say, is when the server started, and we were playing on snapshots.
I think so. Well, that's also after they
pre-releases.
promised they would do like 2 big releases a year or something.
Yeah.
Maybe they're finally holding up to that, though. That would be nice.
Yeah, I'm cool with smaller releases throughout the year. If one release is literally just, we're making the game work better, I'm good with that. But you can't take all year on we're going to fix our bugs from the last one update.
Probably, no, they should add stuff. But they are.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're
getting
adding
the snapshots.
bees,
It's clear that they're adding stuff.
Yeah.
It's not much, true.
Yeah. Speaking of bees, they fixed where bees will suffocate when up against a solid block ceiling. Because, bees are stupid. Last time they tried to drown themselves, now they can't breathe on a solid ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
Dumb bees. Honey level of beehives does not increase as opposed to bee nests. I'm not sure what that means. I'm guessing because, obviously, when you look at the F3 screen, at a hive, it'll say honey level, and level 5, I want to say, is when you can harvest the honey from it.
Right.
So I don't know if that's saying like the hives themselves weren't working, but the bee nests were. I haven't played in the snapshot. I usually try to save playing in the snapshot.
Yeah,
when they're getting closer to releasing it.
I haven't really much reason to go into the snapshot behind just have a quick look at bees, but I mean the screenshots you see sort of show you all you need. At least I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what that kind of means, I guess.
I think you're right. But other than that, I think we're done with the news, right?
Did you say about... Well, it says bees are affected by Bane of the Anthropods.
Oh, I did not see that.
I didn't hear you say that one.
No.
And they changed the texture of nectar-covered bees to have consistent amounts of honey. I guess there was... Again, I didn't really see into the snapshot that much yet, so I don't know.
Okay, well, that's cool. You mean Bane of Arthropods, at least that kind of gives it another thing to... It's still the worst enchantment in the game, guys. Come on.
Are they arthropods or whatever? I don't really know even what that word means, but I thought it had something to do with spiders. I mean,
I know it's a type of insect.
It has. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so bees very well
guess.
could fall in that, so I just don't know. I haven't looked into it. This was kind of a last minute, hey, let's record the news to add to last
If there's any
recording.
insect knowledge guys out there, let us know in the Discord.
Yeah. Speaking of which, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to have Carl do our Discord ad, and then we're going to take you guys straight into a recording from last week with Nina where we finish up our discussions. I hope you guys enjoy it. It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Hey everyone! The Withering Effect has a Discord. It's a great place to have discussions with fellow listeners and everyone who works on the show. A link will be available in the show notes, and if you don't join, a walrus might try to steal your pants. Send in the walrus.
Alright guys, this is going to be a bonus to the last episode. Nina is still with us. Say hi.
Hello.
We had some good ideas after we wrapped up the podcast that couldn't wait, so we're going to go ahead and record some bonus stuff. Bank, you still alive?
I'm still here. I was just... I don't know.
You went to think mode.
I was listening. yeah, we got well, the dirt, I guess.
Yeah,
Really.
I'm going to go ahead and call this one the dirt. Carl, you don't get to name this episode. This section is basically how to deal with people that aren't being savory on the server. I'm going to use that word. Or maybe just some people in general who are new to the community, who aren't necessarily bad players, just they need some direction.
How to deal with your community as a server owner, as the leader of the group.
That's way better wording than me saying that player stinks.
That's spot on.
Who's going
Okay,
first?
so-
Who has the tea
Oh,
first?
right.
Because I'm ready.
Yeah. Then start us off.
Oh.
You're ready.
Okay, damn. Man, like I've been, I guess, an admin for maybe 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
There's always going to be whenever you start a community, there's always going to be issues. Always, always, always. That's just the nature in humans. So,
Yes.
how do you deal with them?
People together
Yeah.
equals issues.
How do you deal with them? How do you maintain the situation? Like, for example, there's this one guy. I don't know what his deal was. And he wasn't a kid either. Like, this is a grown man. He didn't agree with some of the server's, I guess, new rules. So we were a faction YouTuber SMP server, and then no one was really like fighting each other because we were all like pretty chill. So we decided, let's just be vanilla SMP, whatever. And then he was like, what? That's so dumb, so boring. And we got into an argument, a disagreement, and he, instead of like wanting to compromise and find a solution, he ended up just saying peace, but he also had access to the console. So after he got, I guess, unwhitelisted, the server owner forgot to remove him from the console access, and he just re-whitelisted him. He spawned in, went into creative, he spawned in withers, like a lot of things were blown up, and he was like, ha ha ha, F you. And
Dang.
yeah, I was like, what? It was, yeah. Well, luckily, like, we got backups, so always have that backup.
Yeah.
Always gotta have that. But I was like, man, that's so petty. There's always gonna be petty people. Always.
Yeah, I want to say back in Craft, what was it, season 2, when we did Kami World on the Discworld, we had a player join and literally just kind of joined out of spite because he didn't like our application process. So he went through the trouble of joining and everything just for... He literally mined for like an hour, got enough iron to make tons of buckets of lava, started lighting everything on fire with lava because we had fire tick on. Somebody in our shopping area was selling gunpowder, so he made a bunch of TNT and just kind of like blew up the entire shopping area, which I couldn't understand. But luckily, like I said, Bicyc Hosting does automatic backups for us. So in general, I think we lost 3 hours. And I want to say that's when I installed Core Protect and put Bank in charge, because Fuzzy was the admin I had before Bank. Mm-hmm. And that wasn't going so well. So when Bank messaged, hey, I want to kind of join again and play some, it's like, yes.
Yeah. That was interesting when I first looked like through the server files and stuff as well.
Yeah.
There were a lot of like, so you guys had because that Discworld was like it was a pre-created map.
Yeah, it was a custom map by a guy who based the books off of, I think, the Terry Pratchett books, the one where the world's on the back of a turtle.
Yeah, which was an awesome world, but it has downsides. Like, you didn't really want to mess up the world, so if you needed to dig up sand or stuff, that there weren't really good places for that. Mm-hmm. There were no like spawners and stuff, so you guys created like a portal thingy where you could just go to like a completely different world, which was meant to like screw up and just dig up, get resources and all that. And so when I looked through the server files, I saw like more worlds, and I know one had like a Hoth mod, so it was like an ice planet sort of thing. He just had his own worlds going on the side. It was a bit awkward.
Yeah.
I remember I messaged you about that, like, hey, dude, is that supposed to be there?
And then I was like, what the heck are you talking about?
So he made his own world to play in.
Yeah, he just used the server as a testing ground for, I think it was his own server on the side. It was really weird.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I fixed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's... Yeah. I mean, that goes back to sort of be careful who you
Choose to be
grant
moderators.
permissions. Yeah.
And don't be afraid to kick people. I know, like, there's a lot of I've met a lot of nice server owners who are like, oh, they did it, I'll give them a slap on the wrist. If they do it again, then I'll kick them. But it's like, come on, just if that happens, don't be scared to just get rid of it. I don't know. If someone's toxic, I think you should just get rid of them.
I think Duds and I both try to sort of walk a line where you're fair, but strict as well.
Bank more than me now. In the beginning, I had the three strike rule where if you do 3 things, you're gone. And I want to say by the final season of Comic Craft, it was like I was throwing that ban hammer like Thor. It's like, if you didn't want to follow a rule, just forget it. You're gone. And it's mainly the X-rayers that we had the problem with. We had so many X-rayers that season. So what we would do is we'd literally just go into their ender chest, take the diamonds and stuff out of it. We had a community giveaway where basically if you put your name in a hut, you had a chance to win all the diamonds that guy X-rayed.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, because...
Yeah, we just put it back in the community.
That makes sense.
Because shops on our server were always the number one thing. That's what kept people going, was I'm building a shop. I need to constantly supply the shop. So people were always spending money and Kami coins. And yeah, why not give them more money to spend?
Yeah.
Also, with like the X-rayers, we didn't all straight up ban them. Like, if there was someone who just joined and like the first thing he did was go down and do that, yeah, we didn't give him much of a chance.
Yeah.
But if it was someone who sort of slipped up, I guess, he just, I don't know, he got impatient after like a week or so. We would be like talking to him, and depending on how they would respond and deal with it.
Yeah, if they straight up admitted it and didn't fight us over it. Yeah, okay, here's your one chance to make up.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Thor on you the next time you do.
Yeah, like I said, we try to be sort of fair. Like, people who were already around, like, especially if they were nice guys, you don't really want to ban nice guys, basically, but, you know, you gotta sort of keep the rules.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And yeah, you definitely have to be afraid to. You gotta be sturdy as well, because people will fight you on it. Like, no, I didn't. And then you sometimes start to doubt yourself, like, am I right in here? And you just gotta be like, no, you know, you made that decision already, so you just gotta stick with it. That's sometimes tough. Like, they play on your feelings.
For sure. Oh, man. It's always tough trying to be strict. Because I'm an empath. Yeah. Like, I always try to, like, feel for the other side. So it can get difficult. What was I gonna say? You guys have you did have like weird server admin drama, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I've had a couple issues where there's like this weird power insecurity. So I was for one server, I wasn't the owner, but I was an admin. So I'd be like, and I'm trying my best to keep the server alive. So I'm like recommending things, and the owner would be like, nah. Or they're like, think about it. And it's so frustrating to not, I don't know, just like have those kinds of people around where they're like, I'm the owner, I get to control everything. Mwahaha.
Yeah. Well, that kind of leads me into why I started Comic Craft. Bank knows the story. I think Bank likes the story. I can't remember if you're tired of hearing
I mean, I kind of was part of it anyway, of that whole story.
Yeah, so we played on a server called Realm of Survivors for... I was less than a year. I think I only lasted 6 months on that server.
I think we both joined sort of at the same time without really realizing it.
Yeah. So I knew right then the admins had a lot of abuse of their power. Basically what kind of ended it for me was I would be building something and an admin just kind of rode up to me and killed me.
What?
And said, "Oh well," and walked off. It's like, what the heck is
going
on with that? Yeah, and then we had another girl on there. Her name was Faya. talking about
Call
the
her
admins
out.
trying to make sexual advances.
Oh,
her?
that's so sad.
Yeah, and that was really a big. Well, I'm going to start my own public server now where people can be safe and play and have fun and not have to worry about stuff like that.
How old were they?
And
Sorry, I keep interrupting.
I have no clue.
I think they were like, they had sort of young guys, but I think most of them were like at a decent age.
I think most of them were in their 20s at least.
I'd say end 20s probably, even.
Yeah.
Mid to end 20s somewhere. Yeah, they were like at a
Oh,
mature
wow.
age.
Yeah.
Obviously not if they're sexually harassing some girls. What the hell? Oh, they should know better. That's disappointing.
Yeah, so I started Comicraft and I was just like, hey, if you want to play here, you're fine. I invited like maybe 5 other people from Realm of Survivors to join. Next thing I know, there were like 20 people that left and joined.
Nice.
And so basically, me starting Comicraft started the fall of Realm of Survivors to the point where they didn't have a server for a while.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and then a year after Comicraft started, I guess Realm of Survivors got picked back up. And they got called the Sunflower Kingdom. Basically, they didn't like the fact that they found out that all their players went to Comicraft and blamed me for the downfall of Realm of Survivors. So any video I would post or any Reddit link promoting the server, they would just constantly downvote it and stuff and talk trash
Yeah,
about us.
that guy that freaking bombed my site. Like, he disliked all my videos, talked trash on my community channel. Oh my god.
Yeah, Dud said that as well for quite a while, I think, where you just, when you uploaded, like, you had a dislike, like, pretty much.
Yeah, it was like one guy constantly
Within the hour.
disliking it.
Like, we know who you are,
just
bro.
For no reason.
Yeah, and it didn't really affect me enough, really anything. My server kept continuing on, and Sunflower Kingdom, they actually grew to a decent number, but they didn't have the steady base we did. But we had players that were in both Discords, and I would get messages with like screenshots of them just absolutely trashing me as a YouTuber and stuff. And it's like, guys, I have less than 100 subs. Really, I get it. I'm not great, but you're not hurting my feelings here. And basically, from then on, anytime I saw a Sunflower in game, I would just punch it and be like, "Down with the kingdom." And
You still do that.
I still do it, and no one really understands why. So anybody for the past 2 years has been wondering why I punch sunflowers and say "down with the kingdom." You now know why.
That's funny.
That's the dirt.
That's the tea.
Yeah.
It tastes good.
Exactly.
That's funny.
Really does.
I mean, we did kind of crash Realm of Survivors, to be fair.
Well,
Yeah, that was unintentionally though. I only invited 5
We
people.
were all, like, really active. And me and Faya were, like, quite close back then.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember we left because her and Nabs, another player, they had built, like, a mail office? Maybe you helped on that as well.
I built the mail office.
You built the mail office. And we got there, and there was, like, a piece was blown out. And there was, like, stone and stuff that was missing. We knew that. And they were like... So we messaged, like, someone grieved that. Could you maybe, like, re-roll it or something?
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, no, that was thunder. It was fire. We were like, no, but stone is missing. Somebody obviously, like, grieved it. They were like, no,
that's
it's
dumb.
fire. And they just kept being, like... They just didn't care. Like, if you weren't part of that little clique, they didn't care.
that's sad.
And that was sort of for us, like, yeah, we don't want to be in a place where admins don't do anything.
Exactly.
And, yeah, you had just started Comicraft, so we just hopped over. At least I remember saying to Faya, like, alright, I'm out. I'm going to Duds.
Yeah.
And she was like, alright, I'm joining.
Yeah.
And we actually burned both our own bases.
Yeah, you guys told me that.
Because we
I went,
both had, like,
"Holy cow."
made big wooden houses, so we were like, well, let's watch our own stuff burn. That's kind of cool. So we did that. And then they banned us for griefing because we burned our own place. I mean, we didn't care because we wouldn't go back anyway, but it was a bit awkward. Like, that was our own thing. Why can't we burn it?
You griefed your own thing. That's still griefing. Banhammer.
I guess, yeah. Well, I didn't care.
People just
I
like
liked it over at Comic Craft way better anyway.
Yeah, people just like that. Like, I get power, I get to control you.
Yeah, something like that.
Stuff. All that stuff, man. Like, I had an issue where my people, like one person, he had an idea that he was working on, like a shop. He had an idea of a shop. And he mentioned it briefly in a meeting, maybe like 3 months ago. And then another member had the same idea of a shop, it's just selling lights. Nothing like too creative or like unique in a way where you could say like you're copying my idea. But he said like, whoa, bro, you're copying my idea. So it's like you have one person that took a lot of time trying to set up this shop, but he's had like limited time to do so, so it's taking a really long time to even set it up. And then you have another person that just happened to think of this idea, and forgot that he was going to make this shop, and now they fought over it. They were like, well, one person was like, "That's messed up. You took my idea," and then the other side is like, "I didn't take your idea. I'm sorry, but
I mean, it's a fairly
shop. Like, you could have it if you want, but some people just get so hurt that they just don't want to even deal with it. So now it's like, what am I supposed to do as the server owner? How do you deal with people like fighting against each other when you're supposed to be friends, right? I guess it ties into real life too,
Yeah.
We had that a little bit on Discworld, where since farms couldn't be built the same, one, because we were on Spigot, and two, things like witch huts and stuff like that couldn't be built. I remember early, like, a guy wanted to sell iron. It was like, okay, well, that's cool. You have an iron farm that actually works. Go ahead. And then another guy, well, I want to sell iron too. My iron farm's bigger and better, but for my shop, I'm just going to put a chest out with a sign on it saying I sell iron. It's like, well, why don't you sell iron to the guy who took all this time to build a really nice shop on the cheap? And then he'll pay you for the iron. He's already agreeing to pay you for the iron to supply his shop. And he was just like, no, I'm not doing that. And they ended up quitting the server.
Well, also you try to just keep like the market area, I guess, the shopping area kind of nice, so everybody would build a nice shop and stuff.
Yeah.
And he just plopped the chest down with a sign like, yeah, buy stuff here. It's like, come on, dude. At least put some effort into it.
Bank had a van that just sold random.
I built a minivan.
Yeah. And it's like
an ice cream truck. It had a sort of window on the side.
Yeah. I mean,
with an armor stand with my face on it.
It's a very low effort build, but it's so much nicer than here's a chest with a sign.
Yeah, I didn't want to build a whole house. I didn't want to, because it was sort of clutter that I sold anyway, like sort of random stuff that I had left. And I didn't want to invade the whole nice town with a big shop for that. So I was like, I'll just put a van down.
And he didn't want to deal with that?
No,
it just was...
Well, and I remember offering them, because we'd have people build a shop for some, like, random stupid stuff, never really fully finish it, and just leave. And normally we would either just have some other person who wanted to build there tear it down and build their shop there, or I would, quote-unquote, sell the shop to them and be like, look, the shop's pretty much pre-built. You just have to stock it with your item. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, but that's not my build. It's like, so you don't want to build anything anyways. Here you go.
Also, why join like a server like that when you don't want to build? It's kind of...
Well, he was the guy who just built a farm and left.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, people, man.
How do you deal with that situation?
Where two people sort of fight.
And you're in the
Banhammer.
middle.
No.
No,
Yeah, I don't really. How did it's?
we had people trying to, like, we didn't really have that situation. Obviously, it's hard to sort of get to exact situations
I always
when it comes to people.
Yeah, I always try to offer the compromise, and hope both parties agree to it. If they don't, then it's kind of like I don't. Well, I've never run into the part where both people don't agree to the compromise, other than this one guy, and he just ended up leaving the server, making my job easy.
Yeah.
For the rest, we generally had a sort of first come, first serve rule when it came to shops. Like, yeah, he was first.
Yeah.
He already had the shop. Don't go build a shop and sell it for less. That's sort of a
Yeah.
move.
That's fair.
So we would give the guy who had the shop the advantage. Like, we would just go to the other guy, like, just work something out or find something else to sell or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's just you can't do that. And then for the rest, we sort of had the rule, or it's not really a rule, but we just didn't let people, like, you could reserve doing something. Like, I want to build this, but that would only last for like a week or a month or something. So if you had to build it. You couldn't reserve something for like half a year and then complain that somebody else did.
Yeah, if you had like reserved something, you're like, hey, I can't play for the next month or so. My life's gotten busy or whatever. You just had to tell us. It's like, hey, I'm going to be gone for a little while. Please keep my reserve on or whatever. And it's like, okay, yeah, we'll do that. But if we don't hear from you in 6 months,
even if you didn't tell us, yeah, we would just assume you were gone. Basically,
yeah.
You were allowed to come back. Like, it's all fine. You don't have to play. But yeah, if you're not there for a while, we're just gonna assume you're not there anymore.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
But I think you guys make a good point. Compromise. Try to find a solution and have both parties compromise. Rather than... And try to listen to both parties as well. People like having their side heard. And if you ignore that, then that just fuels the fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's what we are. We had a guy who had a small iron farm that didn't produce a lot, but he had a really nice shop. And then another guy who had no shop, but a really large, nice iron farm. It's like, how can you guys not see how easy this is? One guy's willing to buy the supply. You're obviously willing to supply it. It's like, it makes sense.
Work together. Yeah.
I want to say by the end, they both ended up leaving the server at some point, and me and Bank turned the iron farm that was giant into a community one that floated in the air.
Nice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, in general, we just put that stuff up for, like, grabs or just...
Yeah, I think people's pride just, and ego just get in the way of them making decisions, logical decisions.
Well, we had a problem with... So we had a lot of really good builders on our server. I still stand by... I think we had one of the best public servers with, like, underrated good builders. And we'd have people join.
Yeah, we have really good
They're
builders.
like, I just don't want to build next to this guy because he's too good. And it's like, well, you saw the pictures of the server when you joined. It's like, instead of being embarrassed of your build, like... Ask that guy for some tips and tricks and get to know your community a little more. All of us want to help each other.
Well, I think that was also kind of the nice thing. Most of those, well, in brackets, good builders, because most of them didn't really saw it that way themselves.
Yeah.
But they really didn't mind. Like, all of them really liked helping people out and getting better at the game and stuff.
Yeah.
Which helped as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many hours I've spent staring at a decoy build. Just cursing him underneath my breath for how good he was.
He just put so much in so little space. Yeah.
Yeah, we love decoy on the podcast.
I've noticed.
The dude does so much with so little, it's crazy. And not to mention, he can talk you into a nap. It's so calming.
Don't put it that way. That sounds...
Well, yeah, no. He's not boring.
No, he's really relaxing.
Yeah.
He's just calm.
No, I get it. I get it. No,
Hard
I
to
get
explain, I guess.
Some people just have that soothing voice. You should be like a
Yes.
Those audio bedtime story people.
Yes, that would be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I would buy every one and
It
listen
would be
to
good
them.
at that.
We had him on the podcast a little while ago.
Yeah, he was in
I can't remember what episode he was.
episode 8.
But
Must have been 8.
yeah, it was definitely a fun podcast. He came up with some outside views, and it's like, dude, we're talking about Minecraft, and he's out here talking about some kind of crazy limitation theory he's using, and it's like, wait, that's how you build so good?
He threw us off a little, yeah. That was awesome, though. Yeah.
It really is. And the fact that Decoy's Swedish and works at IKEA and plays Minecraft on top of it's like the perfect alignment. It's like, there's no way.
I mean, somebody from Sweden who works at IKEA is already like, that's the perfect.
Well, to me, that's what I picture Sweden as. It's just one giant IKEA. And now everybody from Sweden listens to the podcast going, turn off, click.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking that. Like, oh boy.
Hey, we labeled this
I'm
episode
sure
The
it's
Dirt
fine. True. I bet they didn't expect dirt on, like, I don't know.
on the country of Sweden.
Yep.
No, I bet you Sweden's an awesome place, and I would love to visit there. I'm pretty sure I would freeze my butt off, though.
I think it depends on when you go. I think the summers are quite nice.
Yeah. Well, I'm used to, so I'm from North Carolina, which means I sweat 9 months out of the years. Or out of the year.
Right.
Yeah, any more dirt we want to bring up. Or how to work with communities and stuff.
How to keep the
We got off
server
topic.
up and running? Do you want to talk about that?
That's a good one. Yeah, so Comicraft, we always had what I called the lull. It's like, so you basically have a new update, and for the next 2 months, the servers are extremely active. And then it slowly starts to die down, where you have about 3 to 4 months in between the next update, where you have 1 to 2 active players. And I always was trying to figure out ways to kind of keep people going and stuff. And that's where the idea for the shopping area started, was how do I keep players active? And I saw Hermitcraft had their shopping area, and that thing was always busy. That's where all the new builds were happening. So we started that. And then for the final season of Comicraft, we did the Comic Coins, because they were so rare, you kind of always had to be messing around on the server to get them, which led to the custom villagers that traded a bunch of decorative blocks.
How did you get the
So
coins?
if you wanted all... So Bank set it up where if you killed, what was it, a zombie, spider, skeleton, was it witches too?
No, I think the creepers.
Oh, creepers, yeah.
It was all the basic mobs, as I'd like to call them.
Yeah, he changed the loot table, so whenever they would get killed, was it a 1% chance of dropping a spawn egg? Because Minecraft had the generic spawn egg, when you clicked, it didn't spawn anything.
It was like an empty spawn egg, basically.
Yeah, I don't think it works anymore. I think that's been removed from the game. But we had a server texture pack that only redid the texture for the spawn egg. So instead of a spawn egg, you'd get something called a comic coin that looked like a coin and everything like that. And yeah, you just go around killing mobs.
So only
That
it
was
came from mobs.
What we found the best way. Yeah. At one point, I thought about doing the custom achievements, and then that would give you coins. But that whole custom achievement thing was just too hard for me.
Could you have just made a mob farm AFK for a bit, get the coins?
You could.
The drop rates were kind of low, but I had a zombie farm that I used it to do like small repairs on gears and stuff, but that ended up giving me quite a bit of kami coins.
Yeah, you could farm them. It just wasn't practical.
So you could only really buy like custom heads that looked like, I don't know, a tiny ore block or something. You
I
couldn't
see.
really. There wasn't much point to like farm it really hard.
Yeah. And that was our biggest thing, was struggling like, hey, how can we make this where people just don't build a giant farm to get unlimited coins all the time?
Yeah.
And the only way we could think about it was do small spawn rates. Actually, there was a time when you were getting, before they were coins, you would get the spawn egg by upvoting the server. So obviously we were promoting the server in several different places. And it was set up where if you went and upvoted the server ad once a day, so you'd go to 3 different websites, upvote. The server knew that, and whenever you spawned into the server, it would give you a spawn egg as soon as you logged in. And that was the main way to get them until Bank came in and changed the loot tables for me.
That's not bad. That's not a bad idea either, though.
Yeah, no, it helped us.
It was a sort of standard upvoting system, right?
Yeah.
I've seen that on sort of public
I
servers
see
as
that a
well.
lot too.
Yeah, that was just how we could keep recruitment up too, because we'd have about, I don't know, 5 or 6 people that were dedicated to not missing an upvote opportunity. So, I praise those guys.
There was a little, like, you could see a list on top voter for that month and stuff. There was like a tiny competition going on between like 3 people or something. Like they wanted to be at the top, which kind of helped for all the upvotes.
Yeah, those guys kind of really kept us going at one point. So, mad props to them.
For the rest, you just did sort of, later on at least, you started doing like manual recruiting. I'm still not fully sure on how you actually did that.
So every week I would always do a post on Minecraft servers on Reddit, because most of our people we got were from Reddit. So I was like, well, these other websites aren't helping. I spend too much time working with them. I'm just going to drop them. So I did, focused on Reddit, and there is also a subreddit for people looking for servers. So I would spend my lunch hour just scrolling through there, and anyone I saw that kind of matched what we were looking for said, hey, check out Commicraft. Here's the link to our subreddit. You can see all the builds and stuff. People were making YouTube videos, and we got a couple players that way, but it was just so much work recruiting players.
With not much return on it.
No, for every, hey, come check out Commicraft I sent out, I maybe got 1 player. And I should rephrase that better. For every like 20, hey, come check out Commicraft, we only ended up with like 1 player. Which wasn't horrible in the fact that it kept our server size small, which meant it ran very, very well. Like our TPS never really dropped below 20. But at the same time, you'd have people like, we had 1 or 2 Australians, and they had no one to play with because the time they played during the day with. So I'd physically go out looking for somebody in New Zealand or Australia, so people would have people to play with. And there's not a lot.
Yeah, it's hard with Australians.
Yeah.
It's hard to specifically look for like sort of part of the world anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, like we had a
At some point we also, well, you sort of said that, but we also looked at sort of YouTubers, because we realized from our own experience that YouTube is a sort of extra motivator to keep playing, because you have an audience, I guess.
Yeah.
So we thought, let's try and get some more YouTubers on the server. Not turn it into a YouTuber server, but just try and get a few of them, because they have more motivation to keep playing.
Yep.
And they usually try and put a little bit more effort into certain things.
But then they end up get demotivated, and now.
Yep.
Yeah, or they're like too ambitious. Like we tried to look for people that were smaller than us, basically. Well, mainly Dutch, because I was smaller. I was kind of a small guy. Well, I'm still.
I'd say I'm still small in the realm. I'm tiny.
Yeah, we didn't like ask a guy who would have like 20 times our subscribers or something.
Yeah.
And then they were like, "No, I'm looking for like bigger subscriber guys." And it's like you get 20 followers. I mean, I can see why you would want to play on a server that has like a lot of people with like thousands or something, but I gotta start somewhere.
I don't like
right?
I don't like those type of people. I don't know. I'm not a fan.
Yeah,
it's like,
which was a shame.
You're all small YouTubers when you look at it, so it's like, why not help each other grow and get better together? And I feel that's what we've done for the most part. Every one of the Commicraft guys, when we left Ripple was left for Ripple, they were very big on helping us grow together. And we've all seen major increases because we worked together and didn't try to leech off each other.
Yep. I don't like those leechers.
Mm-mm.
If you guys are leechers, you should stop. Really?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that either. It's not.
I've
fun.
met quite a few of them, and it's. Like, I don't want to be like, yo, stop leeching. I'm usually pretty confrontational, but sometimes if you're not worth my time, then I just don't talk to you. But
I'm too small to have that experience, I guess. But it seems like they would be boring people as well. They probably don't have much input, I guess. They're just trying to impress you.
Yeah.
At least that's what I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still, like I said, microscopic. I think I have 129 subs. So I've never had anyone try to leech off me, obviously. Because that being so small. But, like, when it comes to streaming, I'm larger on Mixer. Like, I'm still kind of small there with 500-something subs, but I'm larger than a lot of the new people coming over from Twitch. And so I get people advertising in my thing or trying to join and play with. It's like, nah, guys, seriously, not cool.
This shameless self-promotion.
Yeah, it's like, join our Discord, and if you're a cool guy, I don't mind hanging out and recording and doing videos and stuff, but just to jump in my thing and promote yourself and leave, not cool.
yeah, don't do that, guys.
Especially with me being as tiny as I am. It's like, no.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
It really doesn't.
Also, I mean, if you do that, then you get how can you like continue without getting the feeling like, yeah, all they know me for is like being a pushy.
Yeah.
I'm asking for attention.
I think a lot
kind
of kids
person.
just don't have that social. What's that word? Inept. They're just socially awkward. Like, they don't know how to interact properly.
Yeah.
Which, especially nowadays, since, like, instead of playing outside with your neighbors, you play indoors with video games.
Even worse, like, I often walk the dog with my girlfriend, and then I see, like, a younger couple, walk together, and they're both looking at their own phones. It's like, why are you making this walk? What's the point of going on a walk together if you're just occupied in your own space?
Yeah, it's
I don't know.
New generation.
They're playing Minecraft Earth with microtransactions, remember?
Maybe they're doing VR.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Well, that's that whole, like, what was that game? Second Life or whatever? Where, like, you could literally make your own Second Life. It's like, but you have a real one. It's like, games are fun and a great getaway, but to make my entire life in a video game, I don't think that would be fun. I would just be at home playing video games on my video game.
Yeah. But people...
Revert to, like, the normal state.
Well, I get why that game is successful, because people, like, think it's not unachievable in real life. But if they do it in a video game, then anything's possible.
Yeah,
I also remember a lot of people who talked about it sort of being you because they went to work in that game, like they had a job inside that game,
right?
And they were like, no, I don't have to go like travel for an hour or something to get to my work. I can just do it from here. I kind of can see the benefit from that, but I don't know.
Wait, they were actually earning a real income.
What?
Yeah.
How?
I think selling clothes in there, like designing and selling clothes and that kind of stuff was kind of a big deal.
What?
Like if you were good at that, you could actually like make money.
That makes
there.
sense. That's pretty cool.
I don't know if it's still going or not, but it was big enough to sort of support that. Like people just bought stuff from each other.
Dang.
I mean, I don't know what everything was that was available, but yeah, I remember seeing a lot about that kind of things.
Wow. Jeez, I never knew that was possible, so... Of course, I say that. In Minecraft, you have the skin makers and the map makers and stuff. I'm sure they're profiting off that, or at least they should be.
Well, nowadays you got YouTubers as well, kind of.
That's
right?
true.
They sort of.
And I know
Sort of
some
into that.
server owners make money.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a Pixelmon
Yeah.
guy. I edited a trailer for him, and he has like a couple servers running. Like it was like a good 100 people playing on there. But he makes money off of it. Not much, but he makes money off of it. So you could
Dang.
could work.
I remember owning it was just for a short while, server for a different game, and it was still in like early access thingy, and there were a lot of like pretty much all the servers had like, oh yeah, for like $5 you can buy this kit, and basically you would just buy like a ton of, well, weapons and all that, and I obviously refused to do that because I don't want to pay to win server. But everybody was like, oh, why don't you do that? Why don't you do that? And I guess if I had done that would have... I mean, the guys who did that made quite a nice amount of money. Like, a lot of people bought those kits.
Dang.
So it's... I mean, yeah. You can make a nice deal of money on that as well.
Yeah, see, if I were to do something like that nowadays, I don't think I'd still do it for money. I would be like, hey, here's a super OP sword you can have. 12 kami coins. Get to grinding.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to play... If I own a server, I'd like to play on it myself, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm not going to own a server on a game that I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not going to implement stuff that I don't want to see. That's the whole point of starting your own server, right? You can make your own rules and the way it is.
Yeah.
Is anyone else like...
Well, I was just getting ready to say, I actually
somebody
need
else?
to go ahead and get ready to go. So...
Yeah, I think we pretty much almost made... Well, we pretty much made just a
Yeah.
complete second episode.
We really did. So now I need to talk to Carl and be like, hey, are we going to release this midweek or do we want to save it for the next week?
Just make it like a two-parter.
Yeah.
Just in one go. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. But Bank, you can be found on YouTube and Twitter. Social media links in the description. Yes?
Oh boy, are we winging
We're
this?
winging
or
it.
Are we just doing
Winging it.
Oh yeah, you can find me there. But let's switch it around. You do that stuff, and I'll do your stuff.
You want me to read your bottom? That sounds really weird.
All right. If you want to contact the show, send an email to podcast@rippleeffectsmp.com. Tweet us, join our Discord. Just do that. That's the best option. And yeah, links are in the show notes.
Yeah. This show has been brought to you by Bank and myself, also our digital producer Carl. He ends up putting the show in the right spot and not where those guys like to x-ray. That's not a cool spot for our show to be. The amazing music you hear in the intro and the outro was created by Decoy. Both their links can be found in the description below. Nina, where can everyone find you again?
You can find me at Twitter and Twitch. I stream on the weekends at NynahNina.
Very cool.
Look at the show notes.
Yeah, show notes.
Carl
Thanks,
puts
Carl.
it in there.
Carl's got
Thanks.
us. Yeah. Thank you guys for hanging out and getting withered with us. And I guess digging in dirt, because this is the dirt episode.
Yeah.
The tea.
But like always, bye guys.
Bye.
See ya later.